On this episode of Cuisineist Confidential, Elaine and Scott Harris are in Temecula, California at Batch Mead.
Here I am at Batch Meadery with Danielle and Busch, and they're going to give me a rundown on Mead. This is really my first experience, so I'm really excited to hear about it, and we're going to proceed. So go ahead and give me the download. What's going on here?
Yeah, so Mead is one of the oldest alcohols ever created. It originated in Asia. Most people think it started with the Vikings, but they actually traded with the Vikings and they picked it up. And then in the early 1600s, it fell out of favor. It was hard to make, and people wanted to drink a lot more alcohol than they could make at the same speed. So they started doing wine and beer.
Is that because the water just wasn't very good? They couldn't really drink it, right?
I think that's partially true.
Yeah.
So the alcohol content was also a lot lower. It would be like 4 to 5%,
Right.
Whereas now we've gotten a lot better at making alcohol and getting yeast. So yeah.
It's kind of a necessity to figure it out.
Exactly. There are a lot of health benefits to mead, though, that you don't get from other alcohols. I wouldn't call it healthy, but it's more healthy than other alcohols. You get the different allergens from the honey, the reparative properties, and there's some good just antioxidants in there.
So we started the tasting with honey. You just mentioned it. Why do you do that? I mean, we know why, but explain it too.
So you can kind of get the different flavors of the honey varietals in the mead that we make, but at the other end when it's fermented, you definitely get those flavors coming through, and we like to marry the honey varietal with whatever you're tasting. So like sage honey goes really good with our pineapple. You'll taste why in a minute, but it's really sweet, and so using a little bit of an earthier honey kind of cuts through it.
Okay. Awesome.
Great meal.
How'd you get started in all this whole thing here?
Was there a mead you drank?
Traditional mead, and we were living in Illinois at the time, so I heard about it on the media, you could say, and I went to the store, grabbed some mead. It was called Oliver. They're based in Michigan. It tasted delicious. I was like, oh, just honey, water, and yeast. I made a wine kit not too long ago. Maybe I can make a mead out of this. It's
Okay.
similar to wine.
Right.
Wine process. So I tried that, really liked it, and kept going from there. Just sky's the limit when it comes to different flavors and different combinations you can do with honeys and fruit or spices.
Macadamia nut blossom honey, which is from Hawaii, the Big Island, and then we use hibiscus from Northern California, and there's a little bit of strawberry in there. It's very dry.
Okay, so we're going to talk about how mead is actually made in modern times. Well, kind of modern, I guess. So go ahead.
It's very similar to like a winemaking process or a cider making process. You basically have your juice, which in this case is honey water.
Right.
And you pitch your yeast, and about 8 to 10 days later, you have fully fermented mead. From there, what we do is we move it down our tanks right over here. First tank is our fermenting tank. Second tank is where we add fruit or spices. The third tank right there is rough filtration, and the fourth one is polishing, filtration, and bottling. We also carbonate from that tank if we're gonna carbonate any of our meads. Currently, the only one that's not carbonated is our coffee mead, because coffee mead carbonated might be a little weird.
Thank you. Batch Mead in Temecula, California with Derek and Danielle Busch really have it going on. Until next time, Elaine and Scott Harris, Cuisineist Confidential.